Welcome.
Welcome to the Everything Podcast. But before I talk about what I'm going to be reviewing in this episode, I need to issue a spoiler warning. This episode of the Everything Podcast will contain spoilers for Godzilla -1. Yes, welcome to this episode of the Everything Podcast. And as I've just said in the spoiler warning there, I'll be reviewing Godzilla -1, which is one of your suggestions, because as I previously talked about, I'm flipping between, so I'll do a review of mine. So like yesterday's episode, I did an Abe's episode, which is something that I do want to review. And then one of your suggestions, that being this episode where I'm talking about Godzilla -1. But before I get to my review, we've got a couple of admin bits to talk about. So we have Godzilla -1 stars. I apologise for the following pronunciation. Rinzik Kamiki, Minami Hambi, Yuki Yamada, Munetake Aikui, Hideaki Yushiki, Sakura Ando, and Kunsuke Sasaki. The writer-director of Godzilla -1 is Toshiki Yamazaki. Here's the synopsis of this gripping tale of veterans fighting to protect a war-torn Japan from a nuclear supercharged Godzilla won the Oscar for Best Visual Effects. Godzilla -1 was released on the 3rd of November 2023. My opinion on Godzilla -1 is there's actually quite a lot of war things coming on, because Operation Werewolf is coming up soon. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare has happened. We did Oppenheimer not long ago, and Godzilla -1. It wasn't particularly for me. I think I don't think it being in Japanese, because it was English, it just wasn't for me, and that's fine. But you've asked me to review it, so I have. Without further ado, here's my review of Godzilla -1. A plane lands on an island. This island is known as Odo Island. The year is 1945. Several crew members check that something has all of its components. One of the crew members speaks to someone they know. This person expresses their gratitude for being saved by the crew members. The person mentions dogfights. The person storms off. One of the crew members checks on this person and expresses their support for them. An alarm sounds. One of the crew members mention the Americans. Some of the crew members communicate with each other. Godzilla attacks one of the crew members. One of the crew members knows what Godzilla is. The crew members run away from Godzilla. One of the crew members wants someone to attempt to kill Godzilla by shooting at it. Godzilla is approaching the crew members. Some of the crew members shoot at Godzilla. Godzilla grabs one of the crew members with its mouth and throws this crew member into the air. Godzilla repeats this with some of the other crew members. Godzilla also attacks a plane. Someone wakes up. This person sees the true power of Godzilla and what it is able to do to humans. The remaining crew member yells at this person, reminding them what they are actually seeing. Someone is given something letter-like. The following scenes take place in December 1945 Tokyo. Someone recognizes the person just given something. This person is yelled at by the person that recognized them. This person is also called a coward. The person that recognized the other person has recently lost her children. This person reminds the other that they are the only survivors. The other person reads a letter from his parents. A woman is being called a thief. This woman gives someone a baby. This person attempts to abandon the baby before deciding to do the right thing and keep the baby. The woman and this person reunite. This person gives the woman her baby. This person explains why he was unable to abandon the baby. The person wants to no longer be bothered by the woman and repeats this multiple times. The person asks the woman about her husband. The person reminds the woman of knowing who her baby's father is. This baby is not biologically hers. This baby was given to her by the baby's dying biological mother. The person believes the woman is insane. The woman reminds the person that he also felt like he had no other choice but to not abandon the baby and instead look after it. The baby's name is Akiko. Akiko, I think. The woman reveals her name. The person thinks that the woman is dressed as a beggar. The woman discovers the person's parents are dead due to some remembrance gravestones. The woman and the baby fall asleep. The man believes they can't stay with him. Another woman knows, and the baby knows that the baby and woman are staying with him. This woman visits the baby. This woman mentions malnutrition. This woman gives rice to the other woman and man. The following scenes take place in March 1946. The man dries himself off. The woman asks the man about his success of getting a job. The man mentions the government. The man explains his potential job to the woman. The man attempts to reassure the woman about this job. The man introduces himself. One of his new colleagues introduces himself, as well as introducing their colleagues. Another colleague mentions their nicknames. This colleague explains what their job is. This person shoots at water. The man volunteers to take over. The man blows up something. The man threatens one of his colleagues. The man remembers his encounter with Godzilla. This is a nightmare. The woman checks on him. The woman pushes the man. The man discovers some photos. The following scenes take place in July in 1946. A montage is shown featuring the man, the woman, and Akiko. Within this montage, the man returns home. Akiko, the woman, and the man have moved house and are currently eating with the man's work colleagues. The woman reveals that she and the man aren't married. Akiko calls the man daddy. The work colleagues reminds the man that you don't have to be biologically related to be family. The following scenes take place in March 1947. The man notices the woman's new clothes. The woman tells the man she has found a job. The woman believes the man wants to find a wife. The woman describes Akiko's babysitter. An advert plays. The following scenes take place in May 1947. The man's work colleagues question the species of a creature. The man recalls his encounter with Godzilla. The man's work colleagues learn of the man's previous employment. One of the man's work colleagues starts to panic. Another of the man's work colleagues mentions the Americans. The man's work colleagues attempt to reassure each other. One of the man's work colleagues asks for an alarm to be sounded. The man and his work colleagues disagree over how to deal with the current situation, which will involve Godzilla soon. The man and his work colleagues witness Godzilla attacking another ship. Godzilla is now chasing their ship. The man and one of his work colleagues drop something in the ocean to delay Godzilla getting to their ship. This object is a weapon of some sort. Someone sets off this weapon. This weapon was used to try and kill Godzilla. Godzilla is still alive. The man shoots at Godzilla. The man's work colleagues attempts to blow up Godzilla for a second time. The weapon trigger is no longer operational. The man's work colleagues discover why this is. Godzilla is neutralized temporarily. Another ship attacks Godzilla. Godzilla attacks the ship in retaliation. This ship blows up. The man and his work colleagues are in disbelief. Godzilla chooses to spare the man and his work colleagues. The man wakes up in hospital. The man's work colleagues fill him in on what he has missed. One of the man's work colleagues informs him that the government has decided not to tell anyone about Godzilla. The woman checks on the man. The man is in a bad mood and takes it out on the woman. The woman wants the man to open up to her regarding his emotions. The man lets the woman know his previous employment as well as about his first encounter with Godzilla. The man blames himself for the people that died at the hands of Godzilla. The woman reassures the man. The woman opens up about her parents' deaths. The man gets emotional. The woman comforts the man. The man wakes up to Akiko watching the woman make breakfast. The man's nightmares seem to have vanished. Godzilla reappears. Godzilla seems to be targeting the ship that the man's work colleagues are on board. They attempt to blow up Godzilla again. Godzilla is getting closer towards the ship. An alarm sounds. Japan is informed of Godzilla's existence. Godzilla is attacking a town. Godzilla also causes a train to complete an emergency stop. The woman sees Godzilla attacking objects as well as the train she is on board of. Godzilla rips this train in half. The man saves the woman being killed by Godzilla. Several tanks shoot Godzilla. Godzilla seems to be growing. Godzilla can now shoot something out of its mouth. A large area blows up. The woman pushes the man. The man is still conscious. The man explores his surroundings following Godzilla's attack. The man calls out for the woman. The man discovers that the woman has died. The man gets emotional. The man sees Godzilla still standing. Godzilla roars. The man screams. A radio broadcast occurs warning everyone of the power Godzilla possesses. The man has set up a shrine of sorts for the woman. The man's work colleagues discuss taking care of Akiko without the woman's help. Akiko cries. The man blames himself for the woman's death. One of the man's work colleagues mentions Godzilla. The man's work colleagues discuss being at a meeting with a lot of ex-military personnel. Hotta introduces himself. Hotta reminds the meeting attendees of Godzilla's power. Several men disagree with Hotta's plan. One of the man's work colleagues calms down the meeting attendees. Kenji introduces himself. Kenji mentions Godzilla's regenerative abilities. Kenji suggests an alternative to Hotta's plan. Kenji demonstrates his plan. Kenji introduces a map. Kenji names his plan. The man questions Kenji. Kenji convinces the man to not leave the meeting. Part 2 of Kenji's plan is demonstrated and explained. Hotta comforts the meeting attendees. One man refuses to help stop Godzilla, as do others. This mission is not compulsory. Hotta thanks the men who have chosen to accept this mission. Kenji explains to his work colleagues how he came to be involved in a plan to stop Godzilla. Kenji is annoyed at the suggestion from one of his colleagues that he doesn't have a plan. Kenji declines to change his plan. One of his work colleagues suggests an alternative plan of action. The man asks about the possibility of receiving a weapon. One of the work colleagues confronts the man over his feelings towards the woman. Kenji shows the man a weapon he has acquired. The man is looking for someone to fix this weapon. Kenji and the man are struggling to find this person. The man begs that no one else should be allowed to fix the weapon. The man collapses. A bucket of water is thrown over the man to wake him up. The man has found the man he's been looking for. The man is punched in the face. This man refuses to help the man and Kenji. The man figures out the man's post during the war. Kenji checks on the man's physical condition following being punched in the face. The man lies to Kenji. The man who punched the man has agreed to help Kenji and the man attempts to defeat Godzilla. The man's work colleagues discuss miracles. Godzilla is expected tomorrow. Kenji suggests that the men who have agreed to help him attempt to defeat Godzilla spend time with their loved ones. Kenji refuses one of his work colleagues joining him in his attempt to defeat Godzilla due to his broken arm. This work colleague yells. The man thanks Sumiko. Akiko gives something to the man. Akiko starts to cry. The man attempts to console Akiko. The man checks on the progress of his weapon being repaired. Yes, the man is told what his weapon includes. Godzilla's first attack is mentioned. The man realizes that he may not come back and says a goodbye of sorts to his belongings. Akiko gives Sumiko something on the behalf of the man. Kenji and his team commence with their attempt to try and kill Godzilla. A ship explodes with multiple people killed in the process. Godzilla arrives on land. Kenji delivers an order. The man fills in Kenji about his progress with his weapon. Sumiko receives a telegram. The man has completed his part of the mission regarding the attempt to defeat Godzilla. Hotta issues an order. Godzilla returns to the water. One of the ships explodes. Two ships nearly collide with each other. Godzilla seems to be drowning. Godzilla is still alive. Kenji initiates his backup plan. Some machinery collapses. Another ship offers to help Kenji and his team. The man remembers the woman. The man pilots his weapon into Godzilla's mouth. The man is presumed dead. The man is actually alive as he was able to use his parachute before his weapon was destroyed by Godzilla. Kenji and his team salute the man. Kenji and his team return home. The man reunites with Sumiko and Akiko. The man also reunites with the woman he thought was killed by Godzilla. The man is emotional when he reunites with the woman, and that is my review for Godzilla -1. Next time on the Everything Podcast, I will be reviewing episode 1 of Doctor Who, The Lost Stories, Operation Werewolf, which is titled The Secret Army. Here is the trailer for Operation Werewolf.
Where are we, Doctor? Exactly where we're meant to be, Jamie. Normandy 1066.
They didn't have many railways in William the Conqueror's day, did they, Doctor?
No. Right place.
Wrong time.
From Big Finish Productions, Doctor Who, The Lost Stories, Operation Werewolf.
What's that?
I think I know. Aeroplane. What are those things lighting it up?
Searchlights, Jamie.
Someone's shooting at it.
Oh, dear.
Well, that rules out the 19th century.
Yes, sir.
Sir Aubrey, the radio room has just picked up a call from the resistance group in Normandy. They say they found the Doctor.
The Doctor? Who are you? And what are you doing here?
I'm Jamie McCrimmon.
I'm Zoe Harriet. We just arrived.
In Normandy? They're headed this way. I'll try to draw them off.
Papa.
Look after my daughter.
Oh, hello. All right, we wouldn't want him to die before the Commandant had a chance to question him.
I am Hauptsturmführer Leni Bruckner. Aide de camp to Gruppenführer Schneider. We have been expecting you, Herr Doctor.
So, this is a police box. The doctor will have the key. Fascinating.
How are our two guests? They know too much. So we interrogate them, force the truth out of them.
If they are spies, I will happily kill them myself.
You're members of the resistance, aren't you?
Well done.
3, 2, 1, and activate!
You mean these two cabinets
A
are...
means of instantaneous meta transmission.
You, Professor Hans Richter, have mastered teleportation.
The locations of the main troop camps on the south coast. We will shortly send over an elite commando force who will release the gas at the camps.
What is it? It's poisonous gas. What about gas masks?
We don't have any.
The troops will then fall under our control.
I am loyal to the Third Reich. Heil Hitler.
The gas and lunar light will turn the Allied poodles into Nazi wolves. Hence the name of this plan, Operation Werewolf.
Big Finish, for the love of stories.
That was the trailer for Operation Werewolf, which there will be 6 reviews for Operation Werewolf, 1 for each episode, which have specific titles. So I'll be reviewing episode 1 of Operation Werewolf, titled The Secret Army, in the next episode of the podcast. But back to this episode, let me know what you thought of Godzilla -1. If you watched it, my review didn't, you put your thoughts on both of those in the comments below, as well with anything else you want to go to the channel. So it'll be a review session, it could be a TV show, a movie, a book, a comic series, or some news about the TV show or movie. So some of the suggestions, obviously, in today's episode was obviously a suggestion episode, Godzilla -1. The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare will be the next one, which I have got like 20 minutes left to write, so that should come out after the next episode, so in 2 episodes time. So every second episode will be a review suggestion, if that makes sense. So if the episode that you're watching is not a review session, the next one and the last one will have been and will be. Hopefully, as long as there's no gaps. But yes, we'll just see how that goes. But yes, that's it for this episode of the Anything Podcast. Put your comments on all of those in the comments below. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And that's it for this episode of the Everything Podcast. Goodbye.